Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Gamer's Ledge. I'm your host, and tonight DM Mark. And when last we had met up with the Menagerie, they had joined a new group that was about the protection of nature and balance called the Emerald Enclave. They were set upon with a task to track down a potential necromancer. And with that, I will bring it in for... Nope, not that one. I knew that was going to happen. There we go. There's the Menagerie. Let's start by having everyone introduce themselves counterclockwise, and then we'll have Matt fill us in on what happened last week.
Unin, I'm Sean. I'll be playing Mytholos, the Elven Arcane Trickster.
I'm Lou. I'm playing Leonardo, a human wizard.
I'm Lexi. I'm playing Autumn Oak, a druid tree.
Good evening. I'm Matt. I am playing Cork, the Aarakocran Ranger.
Hello, I'm JR. I'm playing the Azamar Bard and also playing JR, I guess.
Oh, right. Ben's not here.
Everybody.
Yeah, that's everybody. So next up is if you would, Matt, what happened
Sure.
last week?
Last week, the Menagerie entered the City of the Dead and talked to Ambrose Everdawn, who was the Night Watchman, led them to the coffin of Gregor Grimsby that had been obviously violated, and the assessment of the team was that he had been raised. Lacking a magic caster to actually see if any dark lights or other colors of magic had been used, they were able to track footprints south and ended up in Dandy Mop's haberdashery, where the team got under the guise of needing emergency party wear, got into the store and found what appeared to be some dirt on the floor, which Zek in his snake form investigated. It is now a snake form. And found a basement with entryway to the sewer, which was actually like a doorway to the sewer, but nothing conclusive. In amongst all this, Mytholos appears and gets excited because he thinks we're having a party. Later, he is much disappointed to find out there is no party. Since we now have a magic caster, we return to the gravesite. He casts Detect Magic, and we find our way out to a entrance to the sewer, and which ultimately we follow the dark magic and the tattered clothes and flesh, and find ourselves back in the basement of the haberdashery. The team finds the skeletal remains of the risen. It had obviously been dealt with. And we go upstairs. I'm trying to see if I caught who. Oh, Atali went in to walk alone. The halfling owner then shifts through the window and disappears, flying off into the night, and the team is unable to find. Interrogate the staff, who knew nothing about this. We did find an encoded ledger, which appears to be indicating that presumably the proprietor of the store and necromancer was instructing others in the art of necromancy, and the few graves that had been desecrated of recent may have been his students learning how to raise the dead. Contacted the Emerald Enclave. They decided, necromancers, when it's revealed, tend to not return, so they felt the matter had been resolved to their satisfaction, and the Menagerie headed toward home at Troll Skull Manor, only to get a message that there is a bronze dragon sleeping in the harbor, or under the water in the harbor. I don't remember. I didn't write down that well. And they want us to investigate. And they that was the, I didn't write down. Was that the Black Spire? That's what that message?
That was the Black Tower, yes.
Black
Black
Tower,
Staff.
yeah. And they also sent us potions of water breathing so that we could facilitate that investigation. The magic users were also admitted entry into the Black Spire based on the expunging of the Eclided. I did butcher that word, but you know what I mean. Previously, even though it was our melee person that actually took it out, but the mage benefited from that. So, yes, that's we left off after we received the message and the package of the water breathing. Still heading back toward Trollskull Manor for a well-earned rest before taking on the next adventure.
And it is at that point that a small boy runs up, and JR, he sees a tally, and he immediately goes to anyone else in the group because you recognize it's the boy you continuously close the door on whenever he has messages from people. He runs up to you, Mythalos, and
Toss him a copper as well.
he says, "Thank you, my lord," and then runs off. And
I'll throw a copper at him as he leaves.
it hits him in the back of the head. And he turns and glares at you and runs off after picking the copper up off the ground. At this point, it's a quick note that says, Menagerie, please find me at the Yawning Portal. It is about your upcoming party. And it's signed by Volo.
Oh, that's right. We did get invited to a real party.
Looks like we got a whole bunch of stuff to do. The side quests keep piling up.
And it's, as you finish reading Mythalos, you almost missed it, but at the very bottom it says -- urgent.
Oh, this is the first quest.
Well, it doesn't have to be. It's up to you, but that's what the note says anyways.
Well, that's how we got a house, so I'm down to talk to Volo. He's
And-
interesting.
As you are relaying this, you hear the familiar thump thump, and Zek and Brand are gone, and then Autumn appears out of the blue spark along with Leo.
Alive or dead?
There's a whole lot of funks.
Yep.
Are they alive or dead?
I don't know. You have to check them.
I'll check, see if they're alive. Poke them with a stick or something.
No, good. Just still not used to that. I'm all right. What I missed?
Just making sure you're alive.
Well, the Black Tower is going to allow us entry now to train.
I'm very good.
Well, you and I, anyway.
Well, post haste then, good sir.
Autumn, you find Itali poking you with a stick.
Stop, that hurts.
Stop, that hurts.
The tree is giving you side eye for poking it with a stick.
That's right.
Just making sure everybody's alive. That's all. All right. So where are we going? Are we going to go check on the dragon, or are we going to go to Volo's?
There's a dragon?
Oh, yes. There's... Speaking of the Black Tower, Black Staff, here's a potion of water breathing. And there's a bronze dragon in the harbor that hasn't hurt anybody yet, but they want us to resolve why it's there.
Okay. Have we had a discussion about whether we're just attempting to discern reason, or are we smashing things again?
I have no idea about the age or size of said bronze dragon, so talking is probably better than smashing, especially if we can talk to it.
Agreed.
And let's see, Autumn, you've been in the ball for a while. As you find yourself currently in Troll. Well, no, you guys are on the way back, so never mind. So Leo's
Kid gave us a message at like 1 a.m.
Yes, he did. Leo's potion of water breathing and Autumn's are back at Trollskull. Because Zek said he was going ahead to give his stuff to them and leaving you guys behind.
Before we move forward, I'm going to go to the last place we saw Zek and see if he dropped his bag or whatever.
The bag of holding?
Yeah.
I'm not supposed to carry that anymore because he decided to chase an Illithid through a portal. I'm supposed to be carrying that, actually.
Oh, okay. Just making sure.
It's most likely, yeah. Sure, you have it. That's fine.
I remember telling him he can't
He's-
carry it anymore because he chases Olympus through portals.
That
That's
is
fine.
True.
You have it.
I do remember that conversation.
But yeah, so you guys are like a block from Troll Skull Alley. You could go into the manor. You could go to the Yawning Portal. You could whatever it is you'd like to do.
I'm nice and refreshed, so I'm ready to go.
Is Volo still gonna be up and partying at the Yawning Portal at this hour?
Well, the kid just gave us the message, I'd imagine, so.
Yeah.
Yes,
Right.
may as well
About
head
faced.
over.
Okay, so you're heading to the Yawning Portal.
Yawning Portal it is.
All right, it takes you about an hour to get over there, and huzzah, I get to change to this camera. I hope it didn't. Why does it look like it reset my camera too? I'm not happy about this. Stand
I
by.
see a tablecloth or a bench.
Yes,
I believe.
it's a tablecloth.
Okay.
But I can tell from the framing of the tablecloth that it is not. It's zoomed too far in, I think. But we'll see. You know what? We'll just see. I'll do this. It should work. Just give me 1 second.
Yes.
Oh, monkeys.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Wow.
Come over here and look if you want.
That's wild.
That costs more than a Hot Wheel.
This is true. It might have been cheaper to get us all cars.
Right.
It is too far zoomed in. Give me 1 second. There we go. So, with that, you can see the entirety of the Yawning Portal. First and second layers. There. There you go. Bug if you want to see there. Or you can get up and go look at it. I don't care.
It's okay.
The portal's pulsing.
It is. So, you find Volo is at up top on the second level there, as he normally is, watching as a new group of adventurers head down the portal. There are bets. I had this on another camera, and then I had an overhead view for you as well, but then the camera that did this shot died, so that was that.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty awesome.
It was supposed to be here, but when you guys started the adventure, but the shipping stuff from COVID made it take forever to get here. So,
Said I'm coming to Vegas for a couple of these nights.
good. You should. On the second level, there is a couple things of note. Let me see if I can tilt this camera up a little bit here. So there is a bar on the second level at the very back there, plus the rooms that are up there. But then people sit around the lip and watch as people go into the hole, because that's a very common pastime here in the bar. And then if I come back over here,
That fireplace. Wow.
you can see the entrance at the back is the one that you guys go through when you come in. by the fireplace there, and Durnan's at the bar at the very back. And then you've got the stage over in the back right. And Volo is up at his usual table overlooking the edge on the second floor.
Are we gonna head straight to him, or Mithala's gonna make a bet first before we visit?
Are they already down the portal, or should I make a bet?
It looks like half of them are down the portal, down the hole. It's not a portal. It's literally an actual
Yeah, I mean,
hole/well.
sorry, the young
Oh, you're good.
Let's go talk to Volo. I'll throw a 10 gold bet on them lasting an hour, over an hour.
Okay. Lasting over an hour.
Yes.
Got it. Got it. So you head up and you talk to Volo, and I wonder if I can just throw this on here as well. Second. It may or may not work. We'll find out. Or it may crash my computer. Who knows? That's the... Yep, didn't like that. There we go. So, yep, you head up to the second level, and as you do, Volo sees you and waves you over. And he says, "My friends, I'm glad to see you all safe. Wait, some of you are missing."
It happens.
All right. Well,
Bad, just happens.
okay.
Nobody's passed. We've got some others that you'll meet at some point too.
Oh, well, very well then. I'm glad you got my message. I don't have a fancy way of getting messages to you. The runner that I sent said he'd taken several messages over, and for some reason they were hard to deliver. That's what he said. So
We got them.
oh well, that's reassuring. I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah, perhaps it's his competence. I think he's been improving though.
Oh well, good to hear. I tipped him handsomely, so hopefully that will help. I wanted to. He kind of leans in and beckons you all to lean in with him, and he's like, "I'm not supposed to know things I know. Let's put it that way. And I know that you've been invited to a party. And I think you received your invitations to the party a little differently than you normally do for the people you normally deal with. Is that a correct assumption?"
Has somebody been saying something about Cork's birthday party?
Oh, is it your birthday?
It was a couple of days ago, but that's quite all right.
Well, happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. We've got them by paper bird. I mean, we've received instructions by paper bird before.
Just as a quick OOC, that one actually read it to you in that weird voice, remember?
Oh, that's right.
It was by paper bird though, right? But it read itself off.
It was by paper bird, but it read itself when you opened it.
It was a little odd, yes.
Yes, that's one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you. He points to... I wish I could ping on this picture, and I can't. Darn Roll20 things I want to do on everything now. He points downstairs, and he says, in the back by the stage, you'll find you'll find an elf who is playing a 3-stringed lute. His name is 3 Strings. It's not his name, but it's what everybody calls him around here. He's the one who sent you your message, and most likely from this point forward, you'll be dealing with him instead of Mert.
I was such a fan of Mertz, though.
Oh, I'm not saying Mert's not going to be around. I'm just saying I know, like I said, I know things I shouldn't know. Mert's going to be busy, and but keep in mind, I'm not part of that group, so you didn't hear this from me. But I want to make sure that you know who you need to talk to if you have questions or problems for that group.
Sure, and we're not part of that group either.
What group?
Exactly.
Right, the looters.
That's right. I'm sure the lovely Dryad plays a wonderful lute. The other reason that I wanted to invite you here to speak with me is because I'm pretty sure, because I know things, that your invitation to the party was brief, and there are some details that you should know. The party that you got invited to is the pre-party and not the actual party. So I have remedied that, and you are now invited to the actual party as well, which is my birthday party.
Oh, well, happy birthday to
Oh,
you
happy
as well,
birthday.
Solo.
And
Happy
all of anyone who is anyone that is important in this city will be there, making merry. In fact, have you seen the giant statues?
No. Giant statues of what?
Itali, you would know immediately what he's talking about. There are like 8 giant statues throughout the city.
Yeah, the 8 statues around the city, yes.
Yes, so those are... Well, legend says that those can be enabled to protect the city, and that they actually move. Preposterous. But, nonetheless, my birthday party is being held in one of them. And so once the pre-party is done, hopefully by you fulfilling your obligations, then the hostess of the pre-party will open a portal which will take you to my party. And you have been added to the list.
What is our obligation at this pre-party? Am I
Drow.
forgetting something?
The message said that they believed Drow had infiltrated the party for reasons unknown, and we were to investigate and remedy if necessary.
I don't like remembering my dark cousins.
So, I don't know anything about what you're talking about. But yes, after that's hopefully complete, you can join me for festivities at my birthday party.
At your giant statue.
That is
You're
correct.
one of 8 giant statues.
That is correct.
Which of the 8 was it?
TBD.
Ah.
I'm
Like,
still...
it's like a flash mob.
No, it's done. However, I'm working with the city council to determine which one is suitable for the number of guests, the amount of space we'll need. It'll probably be 3 stories or more that we'll need. Not all of the statues have the same amount of room inside, so they were going to let me know which one. But we have party decorations and the rest of everything we need ready to go. We'll form portals so that the chefs can get there. It'll be a grand time. We'll have live music. It'll be fantastic. And
Look forward to it. Will three strings be playing there?
probably not.
Okay.
However, I spy with my little eye a friend of yours. And he points, and coming up the stairs with 5 flagons of ale is Renair. And he says, "Well met, friends," and hands each of you a glass of ale. Or a mug of ale.
Thank you. Thank you.
Cheers. Always good to see you in here.
Wait, are a few of you missing?
No,
Just like a few of us always are.
Yeah,
It happens.
strategic investigations that some people are on.
Well, hopefully that goes well for you. I hear the renovations at the manor are coming along quite nicely. I look forward to partaking of beverages once it is done.
Yeah, now that there isn't a ghost hurting people, it's well worth visiting.
We actually have a ghost serving people.
You have a ghost serving people.
Yes.
That
Spectre, really.
Spectre. He's slightly lethargic, but you would. I'll tell you what. If you go, you will be pleasantly surprised at who this Spectre is.
Volo's mouth for the first time since you've met him is agape. He's like, "You what? You have a apparition serving at your bar?"
Yes.
We have a ghost of a host.
You will allow me to interview this ghost, correct?
Our haunt is of a haunt. Yes.
If he chooses to be interviewed,
How? How
you
did...
not met us?
What?
We are fantastic.
Of that, there is no doubt, but this is a bit above and beyond for just about anyone I've ever met. How do you have a ghost? I had heard the manor was haunted. I'd seen the things move and perhaps ducked one of two of
It's not
them.
just any ghost. It's even a famous ghost.
That is true.
So yes, hags, ghosts, and the most unlikely of relationships have concocted into this, which I'm sure you would most lovely like to hear directly from the Spectre himself. So I don't think we should spoil the surprise quite yet.
He says, "Renair, do you feel like stretching your legs?" And Renair says, "I'm not sure how straight of a line I'll walk, but I'll walk. If that's what you wish, old friend." And they stand up and say, "Don't forget, everyone needs to be dressed to the nines."
Already taken care of. Well, most of us.
Everyone needs to be dressed to the nines.
Yeah.
Because although I'm a man of refined elegance, I honestly don't care. However, the person throwing the pre-party, she cares.
Who is it?
I think he's suggesting that Orwin has to have an actual suit. And not just a wig.
Well, we can hope he's stuck in the portal just a wee bit longer.
Yeah, that is true. Well, guess I know what we're gonna do now. We gotta get the 2 people in our party some fancy suits and fancy hats.
Volo, Rainier, would you like to run ahead back to Troll School and we will see 3 strings about any advice that he may have?
Absolutely. And remember, wasn't me. And he tips his hat, and they begin to start downstairs, and Renair gives you a wave.
The Spectre likes coin.
And off they go.
Let's go meet our new elf. I mean, yeah, not that elves are possessions. I'm just gonna stop talking.
I believe you mean our new contact. Is for
Yes, thank you, Quark.
Are you gonna give him a sock? Make him free?
Yeah.
Leonardo gave
This-
3 strings a sock.
This is a tavern elf, not a house elf, so that doesn't work. So yes, you head down the stairs. Sitting just off the stage, you see a man with a 3-stringed lute, and he seems to be idly picking at it with his feet up on the table, almost without a care in the world. It would appear.
Atala, you seem like you're gonna connect with him on some level.
Because he plays instruments? That's
Yeah,
wow.
that's
We're always just
professionalist.
pushing him to the front.
Yes.
Go.
I'll go up and give greetings. Hello.
He looks up at you, nods, continues to pluck on his lute.
Alright. I'll sit next to him and let him know, like, I hear you're our new contact. Is that right?
Ow, just blunt.
No,
He-
that's not
he-
funny whatsoever.
He looks at you and says, I have no idea what you're talking about, friend.
Oh, must have the wrong person then. Is that right?
Forgive our friend, and I'm going to just kind of tug at my collar a little bit because perpetually I'm wearing the what are we calling them?
Purple cravat.
Perpetually I'm wearing the cravat with the tweed suit, so I'm just going to tug at my collar. Forgive our friend; he's a little bit direct.
Obtuse.
Too long in the city, I say.
I'm gonna start pulling on collars on my shirt, see if that means anything.
Too long in the country. He'd be a little more slick if he was in the city longer.
Yeah, maybe he's probably right.
He just kind of rolls his eyes at all of you and says, well, even though you may not be the most discreet group I've ever encountered, you have been effective. He motions for all of you to sit. He sees Autumn and he says, my, we don't get many druids in the tavern.
Hello.
Would you like to sit and join us?
Thank you.
And he says, what can I do for you all? Actually,
Well,
I'm fairly impressed. How did you even know to... He scans the room.
Does he have a cravat on?
He does not, but as he's playing, he leaves one hand strumming the lute very awkwardly and quickly ducks into his pocket and pulls out a purple handkerchief and dabs at his forehead and puts it back in his pocket.
do you think they would have tasked us with the job if we couldn't have figured even this simple thing out?
When you work with the quality of instruments that I generally play with,
They sound better when you first pluck them.
Okay.
But yes, we hear that some uninvited guests may be attending a party, and the host is ill-pleased with the fact.
actually the host knows nothing about it.
Excuse me, no. He's not the host, she's the host, isn't she? I don't know what she does, really.
More, we're concerned about the possibility. Because, although I have met a few drow that are trustworthy in my time,
Slight sneer.
the word that we have on the street is that this is someone looking to disrupt things here in the city. So that's why you've been tasked with this.
Okay. Is there any information you have about them? More information you have about them? Just that they're okay.
Will they be apparent by their race? Or are we to understand that they have some type of either disguises, or do they have agents that are not of the same racial factions?
My understanding is a master of disguises. However, that is why you were given certain items to work with.
Perhaps I missed this. Leo might have missed this rather than Lou. I don't know.
How is potion of water breathing going to help us find a drow?
That's
Different side quest.
disregard that.
Different
Three
party.
strings, please, sir.
No, there was a medallion in the paper bird.
Where's the medallion? Cork, are you hiding stuff from us?
Do not remember a medallion being in the possessions. Perhaps it was with Master Zek.
I believe.
Did it find its way into Mithalas's bag?
Yes, that is exactly what happened to it. Actually, I do actually remember him saying he put it in the bag. So, yes, it would be in there. It is a medallion of thoughts. And
We could be reading people's thoughts this whole time. Mithalas, get this out.
Go elbow deep looking for a medallion of thoughts.
Yeah, you find it. It's a very small medallion. And after a few minutes of study, you see that it has 3 charges. While you're wearing it, you can use an action to expend 1 charge to cast Detect Thoughts, and it regains 1d3 expended charges daily at dawn.
Ooh, nice. So we've got 3 to use right now. Awesome. I had no idea we had that, like, outside of this. I
Yeah, I did not know either.
This is news to me.
I don't recall this, but that might have been Lou missing it, not Leo.
Alright.
Leo was in a ball. Or Leonardo was in the ball when this happened. If it happened when it was stated to have happened.
Yes, last session.
All of us seem to not remember that, but
Promise you it happened.
no, I have no doubt of it. Quite good.
Alright.
Is the city guard aware of this situation? I mean, if we are able to capture this individual, would we turn them over to the city guard?
If, how do I put this?
If you want them dead, that's going to cost extra.
If you are able to catch them, I will be pleasantly surprised from the intelligence that I have.
So are you thinking we are more simply scaring them off?
More than likely. I believe uncovering them would surprise even them.
So are we doing this for exposure?
Of the drow agents, yes.
Is the goal observation and report, or to cease activities?
Cease activities. I mean, if you are able to determine who it is, very much, I do want you to
Stop them.
root them out and expose them and take it from there. If you're able to capture them, fantastic. If not, It depends on what they do, I suppose.
Okay. And so if we capture them, do you want us to bring it to you or to the proper authority? Like, or do you just want us to throw them into the river? Like, what do you prefer?
No, I think we're keeping this in-house, Tali. I think this is something that we're going to just handle.
If you are able to capture him, then take him to Mertz.
Okay. Okay. So we got to keep an eye out for someone who's really well disguised. We have this medallion, so we only have 3 times we can use it. All right, we're going to have to bump into everybody, I guess.
It will be a popular party, so take care. And dress your best.
Will do. Will do. All right. So how should we go about trying to get this guy out?
I think this is a conversation more easily had at Troll Skull Manor.
Yeah, let's catch up to our guests.
Wait, Mythos, you're familiar with drows. What do drows hate most?
Me.
Me? Okay. So we just look for
They're
somebody
like
who
That-
just
That's not just drow, though.
Oh.
so we just
No,
look for somebody
I
who
have been known
gives
to rub people
Mythos
wrong.
the stink eye, right? Is that it?
As soon as they start giving me the stink eye, because I'll be the only elf around.
Well,
All right.
Take a gander at 3 strings real
Unfortunately,
quick.
Three String shakes his head no.
Limited.
3 String shakes his head no. That's not the case. There will probably be other elves there as well.
I was certain it was sarcasm.
Ah,
My humor's
Shoot.
dry. I apologize. Drier
Should
than
we
most.
bring like a sack of socks for all these elves?
Socks are not drinkable. We have hose.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, let's get getting then.
Are those guys still down in the portal? The hole?
yes, you made your 10 gold. 10 dragons, to be specific.
And dragon. All right. So where are we going again?
Boom.
Oh. All right. Back to Troll Skull Manor.
And you make it back to Troll Skull Manor. It is now approaching probably 3:30 in the morning.
Wait, before we step in, should we get like fancy suits for the two party members who weren't with us the last time we were getting fancy suits?
Probably
know,
nothing
like, Taylor
open
was
at
on Saturday.
3:30 in the morning.
Oh yeah, not with that attitude, yeah.
Well,
Let us worry about that tomorrow. We still have a whole other day.
Okay.
We'll be open tomorrow.
All right,
Because the
then we'll
party
worry
was in
about that
2
tomorrow.
days, right? So it's not.
Yeah,
it's
party-
Night, it's the
Right,
night after.
correct.
Okay. Then let's head on home then.
All right. When you roll up to the manor, you see that Volo is laughing with the Spectre and Renair. Renair seems deep into his cups at this point. Volo has a... What's the word I would want to use? He's got a halo about him, but, he's not as deep into his cups as Renair is, but he's feeling good, and he is laughing and talking with Asos at the bar.
As soon as we walk in, if we've not been noticed quite yet, I'm just going to cast Minor Illusion and throw up like a kind of semi-translucent picture of the hag in front of Asos. Like, it's just like a quick flash of the hag rather than Asos being there.
So Asos has a 1,000-yard stare reaction and then looks to the doorway and sees you and scowls momentarily. And then he looks at Autumn and his eyes narrow for a moment. And I would like to take this opportunity to remind everyone that this is Autumn's first time in the manor. She doesn't know about any of this stuff, FYI.
Oh,
Didn't she meet Orwin? They stayed down in the bottom room.
that is true.
Yeah, and she was here for the
Or-
holiday, the
That-
Halloween episode.
That is correct, but beyond that, yeah, she doesn't know about ASOS and this is probably her first time seeing the bar mostly redone. Because when she saw it last, it was still mostly disrepair, even for the Halloween episode.
It's because we had a giant elephant man smashing the floors and ceilings.
That is 100% true. So, Autumn, behind the bar is a bluish apparition that looks mostly like a humanoid man, but you can tell he's translucent. You can kind of see through part of him. And he looks up at you and he says, "Hello. I wasn't aware there was a dryad with this group."
Hello.
Are you one of the new owners as well?
I believe so. No?
Yeah,
Were you there at the
functionally.
sign?
No, I don't think she actually took possession
Oh.
on the property.
Whether her name is on the deed or not, she is a member of our group, and as such,
Well,
Autumn,
welcome.
Thank you.
Autumn, this is ASOS. ASOS, this is Autumn.
A pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
ASOS has, shall we say, history with both Atali and Zek. We can get into that all later.
Well, are the guests happy meeting ASOS? then?
Oh, you can see that Volo has probably 6 pages of scribbled notes already, and he continues to keep filling up the page that he's working on.
Nice. Nice. And has the bar made pretty good money then? I mean, these aren't free drinks, right?
Do you ask him, ASOS?
I'm not gonna ask them. I'm
Just
sure
gonna walk
ASOS
over and
knows
check the
best.
till.
Yeah.
Roll for perception, see if there's a pile of coin.
So you go over and you actually open the till?
Just casually, yeah.
There's like a couple drinks worth, maybe? And
Alright, making money.
and as soon as you open the till, Renair slides some coins over to you, and Asus looks shocked. He's like, "I thought Volo was an owner as well."
No.
I will crack up about it, but I won't be mad.
Volo grins and says, "Well, you a former owner. Can't blame him. Can't blame me for trying."
Although,
And he slaps Renair on the back. "That's what good friends are for. Right, Renair?" Renair's like, "Uh-huh," and slides coins over.
Ooh, I'll take it and put it in the till.
You now have like 15 copper.
15 copper, that's way better than before. 0 coppers.
Thank you, gentlemen. This is our first public soft opening at this point, I do believe. We've had any type of actual paying guests in, so thank you for assisting.
So when is the target open date?
We haven't decided yet.
Yeah.
we
you
keep getting
know,
sidetracked. We're marching through the city of the dead, through the sewers, going to parties.
Did you know
There are
there's
many
necromancy
various
afoot in
groups.
I'm sorry, what?
town? Yeah. No, the short answer is that yes, we're planning to open the bar, but there's some other important things that do take our attention, like your birthday.
And Clark's birthday.
We appreciate our good friends.
ASOS says, you all know I can run the bar, right?
We'd like to get you a little bit of help, especially in the kitchen or something of that nature. You are a fantastic barman so far as I've experienced. Very happy to have you, and having somebody to run about the establishment and get some food cooked up and out, I think might help you a bunch.
Well,
If you want help, like, do you prefer another ghost or an actual live person?
I doubt you're going to find another ghost. But
Do we just bring another person here and kill them here? Is that how it works?
Whoa! No,
Yeah, we're just trying to get help.
it's Holly.
I
Just trying to get help.
No, we can pay for actual help.
think you should start at the Guild of Cooks and Bakers.
And bring one of them here and kill them?
No. Offer them a position, work, a job.
I mean, if we've learned anything, is as long as they're not citizens here, it's cool.
Listen,
Cool.
he put Methelus. ASOS puts his hand on your shoulder. My son's sense of humor takes a while to get used to.
It's been weeks, and you're right.
All right. Well, we'll definitely stop by there once before we get this place open and get some help here. But yeah, now we just gotta rest and get ready for the party in the morning, or get ready for the party tomorrow.
Party's not tomorrow, it's the day after.
Day after.
Get ready for the dragon tomorrow.
Oh, we're doing
Dragon
the dragon
tomorrow, party the next day.
I want
Wow.
to use the medallion on Volo just to kind of see how it works.
So,
Oh,
And
man,
I'm not
he's
telling
probably just
anybody. I'm just. This is on the fly.
he's probably just thinking about butts, man. Just leave him be. He's drinking.
he is.
Here,
It's fine. I just
necromancy and
wanna-
dragon.
I just want to understand how it functions, so we don't waste charges looking for the drow.
Okay.
I'm looking at one thing. Give me 1 second.
Like, does it last for a while, or like
A
can
minute.
You use a single charge.
It's a minute.
Scan multiple. So you can use a single charge to scan multiple thoughts.
You can. As long as it's someone that you can see within 30 feet of you and can speak a language. You basically hear, so if this apparition can serve drinks, I wonder what else it would be able to interact with. Can it leave the bar by choice? I must ask. And then he immediately proceeds to say, ASOS, tell me, are you able to leave the bar? And ASOS says, no, it seems like if I try, I immediately am pulled back. Fascinating. And he continues to write notes.
And Rainier's thoughts, I'm assuming, are gargled.
Rainier's thoughts are girlfriend, Volo, cheap.
I'm out.
Yeah.
Pull back.
And yeah, so that's that. You know, he's kind of all over the place at the moment.
So you only hear one targeted person's thoughts at a time. You don't like get hit with a cacophony of all of them at the same time.
Nope.
Okay.
And then after a minute or so, it wears off. Meatless.
60 seconds, 30 feet. How many
Yep.
people do we think are going to be at the free party? Bolo.
Oh, I'm sorry. He looks up from his writing. What?
How many guests do you expect at the free party, not the actual party?
Oh my. Well. Hmm. There's. Lady Ramon.
I mean, there's going to be at least 5 people. We can at least go with that.
Probably. I'd say at least 30 people. Maybe upwards of 60 or more.
Okay, that should actually be manageable if we can narrow. Those are just guests, or is that counting staff?
That's just guests. Although, yes. Yes. That is, yes.
And are you certain that the staff is actual staff, or are the uninvited guests possibly posing as staff?
How do I say this? Certainty in this world? There's not much of it.
We've got 30 plus. For that, we're filling 40.
My recommendation would be probably talk to people, create a list, narrow it down, and then use the medallion.
Well, yeah, I wasn't. I had no intention of trying to scan every single person. Get 3 seconds of thoughts per person. Not enough time to really delve. Just trying to figure out how to talk to people and what kind of questions to ask. Now I'm just thinking out loud, I assume, as I consider the problem at hand.
What if we just ask everybody how they feel about elves or you?
Well, I personally probably don't know a single person there. Elves in general, many people probably don't like or do like. And the forethought on somebody's mind is going to be disruption of the party or the event or whatever the uninvited guest's goal is. So we've got to figure out how to make that goal front and center in their thoughts in order to understand their feelings about said goal.
So you're
Like
thinking we
what
should
they're
like
trying to do. What are the uninvited guests' goals? What are they trying to do? Like, what's the point of them infiltrating the party?
So it sounds like what you're saying is that we should yawn really loud and be like, man, sure would suck if something bad happened at this party, having a great time. And then hear their thoughts?
Yes, that's precisely. You know what? You nailed it on the head as usual, Dolly.
That's what
Is
I'm here
anybody familiar with any type of drow iconography or cultural reference? Specifically, I guess, Maithless, if you might have more experience than others. I may be lightly familiar, though I could perhaps with some research come up with some ideas. My thought process is if we can signal to them that in one form or another we may be sympathetic, it may spur a thought process that could be continuous for a wondering state of where they might be wondering where or what our intentions are if we can signal to them without alerting the party.
Totally agree.
Renair says, this conversation to be having at this time in the morning, but you do know about the Regan d'Arth, right?
What?
Does Leo know about the Rigandarth?
How much time has Leo spent in the city?
This would be his first time in Waterdeep, like this whole experience.
Okay. I would say Itali would be able to roll
Rolling right now.
history. Nope, you've never heard of him either.
Yeah, don't know anything about that.
So the Bregan d'Arth are a group of drow that have a foothold in some of the politics here. And most likely the person trying to infiltrate is from there. But you might be able to ask more to the Lady Ramalia when you get to the party. They're kind of like the Harpers or the other group factions in the city, the Emerald Enclave, the Black Staff. But they're more subterfuge.
They are a drow nationalist faction, do they?
For the most part, yes.
Intriguing. Thank you for that. No, I was not familiar. Do you know of any symbols or iconography of theirs?
I have never met any of them or seen them, only heard stories amongst the nobles.
So they do not operate publicly. Do they have a public face for things like drow representation and then a more subterfuge side to them, or are they completely outside of public realm of understanding in the general sense?
He looks at you and puts his head on his arms and puts his head down. This is... You begin to hear light snoring.
Bolo,
Yes?
if I walked up to a bartender and I said, "Do you know who the Regan Darth are?" would he say yes?
Depends how good a bartender, I guess.
Yeah, moderate level.
Maybe. But, I mean, Renair is not wrong. I've never even met anyone from the Bregan d'Arth. I've never seen a gathering. They're a very secretive society from what we can tell. But, again, I only hear bits and pieces from the Harpers and Blackstaff and the other network, the other groupings. So I couldn't be of much use in terms of being able to identify them.
Yeah, fair enough. I think that already gives us some form of information just on the way that they operate and the way that they're seen by others.
Is there anyone at the party of note that is, say, anti, obviously vocally, loudly anti this group?
I mean,
Basically, could they be looking to try to silence someone, to make an opponent, someone making their life difficult, disappear?
I don't think so. I'm not sure, to be honest. Like I said, I've only heard snippets, and I don't even know what they're about, to be honest. Oh, by the way, I put the spelling in the chat for you.
Now, are they just going to mess things up just to mess stuff up, or are they going to have like a specific target?
You know as much as I do.
seems to not be much at this point, unfortunately. So we will have to see what we can come up with.
What was the host's name again that you need to talk to?
Lady Romalia.
Indeed.
See, I'm catching on.
What? This is a
Yeah,
conundrum
well-
for another day. We have a dragon to prepare for, so we should probably retire.
We're gonna do that tomorrow.
Just another Tuesday.
Volo, are you taking
Mark,
Rainier with you, or do you
I-
wanna stay the night? We've got some people out on. You know, we might have some spare space in the corner to make you up a quick place to lay.
I think I can manage to get him home. He'll put his head under Renair's arm, and then you realize he's not tall enough to actually leverage him up. So he just like picks up his arm and pushes him up, and Renair kind of like, he's like, "Let's go, Renair," and kind of stiff arms him out of the bar area. He says, "ASOS, I'll be back. I have many more questions." ASOS says, "You know where to find me." And they leave. After many thanks, they leave.
So Asos, how'd you like Volo?
What's that?
Said so Asos, how did you like Volo?
I've actually spoken with him before. Many years ago. We were discussing it before you all showed up. I like Volo.
Good to hear. I'll send him your way some more. Are there any other old friends you'd like us to keep an eye out for or an ear out for? Send your way.
No, he's one of the few rare ones. I can't think or remember anyone else. To be honest, I didn't remember Volo until he came in. Like I said before, some of my memory is hazy.
Well, hopefully it will become such a busy center that you'll get to meet anybody you could have ever wanted to.
That's the goal.
I think Volo would be a good resource for the grand opening to help get the word out.
He does seem to know a person or three.
Yeah, at least I'm pretty sure Volo knows at least 3 people. I can say that for sure.
The spirit reaches into a box under the bar and gives you a potion of water breathing.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That will let you breathe underwater when you go to the dragon tomorrow.
Speaking of which, tip top off to bed.
Yep.
Anyone care to do anything before we reset to the next day?
I've been curious about something. Like, is Zek like a half brother or no?
No relation.
No relation? Damn. Well, there goes my childhood dream of always wanting a brother. All right, cool. Off to bed. Yep, gonna go get some rest.
All right, everybody gets a long rest. You get to reset all your HP. all your spells, prepare for the next day. For those of you that need to do that, which is only Leo. And and what time do you guys get up? Start to head out? All that good stuff.
Well, the humans take 6 hours at least, probably 8.
I don't know if you're on your headsets or something, but it's really hard to hear you.
Me?
Yeah. You keep kind of cutting in and out a little bit.
Oh, this is so bad. Nah.
Seems okay.
Okay. Well, I won't.
But what did you say? I didn't hear what you said before. Humans need something.
Oh, they need a lot more sleep than most does.
Oh, right, yeah. 3, 8. So if you're taking 8, it would be 11 a.m. For those of you that only need 4, you're obviously that much earlier.
Okay.
Regardless, whether it's 7 a.m. or 11 a.m., excuse me, ASOS has some fruits and berry in oatmeal for you when you wander down that he's warming on the stove.
Oh, nice. Gonna have some breakfast and start getting ready to see this dragon.
Okay. Everybody eventually wanders down around 11 a.m., eats breakfast. Any other things that want to be done before you all head out?
Yeah, I would like to see if there might be anything useful for us to grab, perhaps specifically from the our list of available spells and such that we may not have taken down quite yet. If I recall correctly, nearby we have the Worm's Treasure, in which I don't know. I think a lot of his gear and equipment was a little bit over our level, Neithless, for what we're able to quite handle yet. Can anybody pour Katali, Autumn, can you think of any other type of prep work we might want to do other than preparing? Because a bronze dragon, to my understanding, is no small opponent to approach.
Could be small, but it could be very big.
Even when small, in my understanding is they can be remarkably unpleasant.
Yes, I think, not knowing what we're walking into, I believe the best thing we can prepare is our wits, and be ready for whatever could be thrown at us. I don't know. I've never, aside from the frost dragon that we encountered earlier in our first adventure, I don't rightly think I've ever come into conflict with a dragon before. So I don't witch sharp and arrow sharper, as they say.
No, I'm pretty sure brass dragons like birds to eat.
Good thing I'm not a bird then.
I don't know. Feathers say otherwise.
Was it a brass or a bronze
Bird-like
dragon?
and bird are different.
It was a bronze dragon.
Well, I think we should be fine. I mean, worst come to worst, we all die. Whatever. Right, guy? As long as we don't die alone.
Asos, can you do something about your son's humor?
Stand by. And he puts his hands out in front of him, almost in a wizardly fashion. And he begins to wiggle his fingers, No, nothing happened.
You're making
wait,
fun of me because
wait.
I'm a wizard. I
Wait,
see where he
I
gets
feel
it.
something. I feel something. I feel something.
It's your hand.
No, that was gas.
He's like, I got it, I got it. I lost it. Sorry.
So the runner said that the dragon was in the naval harbor. Do you know where you're planning to start looking?
The naval harbor.
No, we have no idea. I would assume we'd ask some people who've been at the naval harbor, see if there's been any signs.
Well, maybe we should. Yeah, we should definitely head down. I think naval harbor's like further down south, if I remember right. So we head down south, start asking around. We can find out about this dragon.
So then you'll probably want to start at Mist Shore.
Miss Shore. Okay.
That's the area where the boats dock for the naval harbor.
All right. We'll start heading out there.
Okay. So you guys are still on the
Is
map.
this the Enclave that sent us to find this bronze dragon?
No,
No,
Black
it's a
Sabbath.
black spire.
Okay.
It's on, like, as far away as you can get from us. We're in the northeast, it's in the southwest corner.
Yep. And I just updated the map, so you should be able to see that.
Yeah, that's going to be a long ways away. We need to, with certainty, be back. Does everybody have their garb for tomorrow? I think we should plan out tomorrow a little bit as well, because that is exceptionally time sensitive. I don't know how time sensitive this is. But that is exceptionally, like, we have an event we must make.
Yep.
Well,
make
the
sure of
distinguished gentleman is quite capable of tailoring any outfit necessary faster than you would possibly think possible.
Trying to see if I put that on the map or not.
Do you think that Autumn gets a pass because of Dryad?
I'm certain we can fashion something.
Is it just me, or do you guys hear that too?
Nah, he's cutting
what?
out.
Yeah, I think you're... He rage quit.
The look of irritation.
I want to say that the fashion... I want to say that that was in the the market area. On Trader's Way.
All right, can we hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
we can hear you.
Okay.
Run through nice and clear. I think that perhaps on our way to the harbor, we should stop and have at least some fitting done for Autumn, and perhaps if anybody can take a reasonable guess at a size for Orwin and Brand, perhaps giving him some dimensions of measurements would be appropriate. But I think I've got an idea of the size. Right? Would I use a like a perception and a history check, or what would I? What
I
would
would
do
s-
to try to guess.
I would say it's an intelligence check.
Just straight intelligence.
Just straight intelligence. Yeah, you got a pretty good idea that you have their sizes and measurements that you can translate that for him.
Okay.
And what did we name that shop, Sean? It was the Distinguished Gentleman.
Yeah, and I asked his name, and he's like, he points at the name of the shop.
Yeah.
He's the distinguished gentleman.
Nope. I just wanted to make sure I'm putting it on the
Taylor,
lap
was it,
now.
was it the Dapper Gent?
Uh,
He was referred to as a distinguished gentleman.
yeah, the Dapper Gent. Is it on the map? I don't think it is.
I had it listed as Northward.
All right, stand by. We looking through my own maps. Let's see. I have no markers in the northward, so you're probably right. I will put it right here. So yes, it would be basically due southish from where you are right now, so that would be no problem to hit that on the way. I'm going to say that. Let's see. I'm going to say that it's over here. It's town. So I'm going to say it's at it's just to the right of the H in the North Ward at Bronders Way and Solmore Street. And I'm going to put that here as Taylor as soon as it loads. C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T. Taylor. Okay, perfect. So the Dapper Gentleman is there at Brondars Way and Solmore Street. So that is now on the map as well. So you guys head there, I take it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
You arrive, the shop is open, it's a little busy.
Certainly recalls us.
You haven't gone in yet.
No. Well, as we head in, he'll remember us.
He has probably 3 other staff members working with him right now today in the shop, but he does say, "Well, hello, friends. Welcome back. And you have new arrivals as well. What can I do for you today?"
Well, sir, you've heard that Bolo is having a birthday party.
"How is he?" "Well," and he grins at you.
And yes, so we will definitely need the finest accoutrement to attend. And while some of us understand that, others are a bit less willing to go by the standards of high society. So we need to employ your great skills because we need something. Anybody else want to talk? Am I talking to myself?
We can hear you.
Okay, sorry.
Hey, you're doing good.
I just already have a good suit. I'm ready.
Yep. But we do have our Dryad friend with us who don't know if there's anything that can be done, but possibly, I don't know, a cuff or something with the branches.
He looks at you for a moment and he approaches you. He's a man with gray silver hair. He has a silver goatee. And he looks at you and says, "You are quite striking already as is, but my question to you would be, do you prefer silvers, white, or gold?"
Silvers.
I had a thought that might be the case. And he goes to the back of the shop and he opens a drawer, and inside is I'm trying to think how to describe it. Have you ever seen those sheer nightgowns? You know how it's like, it's white, but you can kind of see through it?
Mhm.
Okay, so imagine that in silver, but it's just a bolt of cloth. And he cuts something that looks like that it's almost quite as tall as you are. And then he begins to cut holes for arms, and he then starts to draw on it for pockets as well. And he says, "This is just the very beginning of what I have in mind, but would you mind putting your arms through these holes?"
Okay.
All right, and so by the time he's done, have you ever seen? He starts to kind of fold the top in, and it's close to your neck at the top, but then it just kind of billows down after that. So it's like tight on the shoulders and the neck, not tight,
So
but
it drapes down.
and then it drapes down and is mostly see-through. It's mostly sheer. And he says, "I think this with some embroidery on the ends would look quite lovely and still allow you to show your true beauty."
Thank you.
And he will set that aside and start to work on it. And when do you need this by?
Actually, well, not only tomorrow, but we also have 2 other orders that are quite necessary, just to be on the safe side.
Oh,
I've taken the liberty to write down some general measurements, and you can see one is quite bizarre.
oh, he says.
He's
Well-
enormous.
That's not a mistake.
All right. Do you have a general idea in mind? Color scheme?
Is he a white elephant? Is he gray? What color?
He's
Colors.
he's pretty. He's like gray, but it's basically off-white.
And he's already ordered a very large wig to go along with it. So,
What kind of
warrior.
wig are we talking about here?
Like 7 wigs stitched together.
Right, but what kind of wigs?
How did we?
The really fancy white ones.
Powdered wigs.
Yeah, powdered wig. That's it.
All right. So are we thinking navy blues or
You know, I think navy blue kind of goes well with gray, don't you guys?
Blue and gray and white. He'd look majestic. That's for sure. Or royal, at least.
Yeah.
I can, if I move this around, and all right, there will have to be a bit of a rush charge on this to get these done by then. He looks over the other one. I have measurements here for the third, but color scheme, any type of...
He has a very silvery tone to his.
Like a metal man.
And do we want to attempt to keep that theme going? But with other metals, perhaps?
If you can make that look good, where he can, yeah, I think that wouldn't be so bad. Lean into his strength.
I will see what I can do. He looks at it and starts jotting down some notes. He's doing mental math. I'm doing mental math for him doing mental math. I would say 60 gold, 60 dragons would cover it in order to have it done by tomorrow. Which would be 15 per outfit, not even charging extra for the amount of material for this one. And then the rush fee.
Oh, that's pretty fast.
And it should be done by, I would say, noon tomorrow at the latest.
Now, I agree that your outfits are of the topmost quality, but 60 gold for 3 outfits seems excessive to me. How about 50?
While I love haggling, and I normally would, if you do the math, 15 gold each for the outfits is fairly standard prices. That's 45, and then simply another 15 because I'm going to have to work my people through the night and myself. I do not believe 60 is unreasonable for this request. But
We're going to haggle next time.
fair enough. If it's not a rush job, how about that?
I'll pay him the 60 gold.
Thank you, my lord. It will be. Shall I send a runner when it is finished?
Can you just send them all? Yes, send the runner. That way we can ensure the proper fitment for the larger of the two.
Absolutely. And where would you like me to send the runner?
Trollspool Manor, of course.
Very good. And he jots it down, and he says, "Is there anything else I can do for you before I get started on these?"
Not for me.
Good.
Thank you, my
I'd like
lords.
a pair of cufflinks, if you got a spare pair.
Oh,
I like that.
absolutely. It's, we have several. What style are you, or colors are you looking for?
Something to go with a tweed suit.
Uh,
Trust your judgment. I'm not familiar with the fashion so much.
trying to think. So he produces some silver cufflinks, and those will be 1 dragon.
Done, thank you, sir.
And anyone else need anything else?
Now I've got 2 fancy boots.
Then he will start sequestering his 3 assistants, and you can see that he's telling one of them to go run and fetch someone else, and he starts drawing things on paper. And he actually waits till you guys leave, and he closes the store.
See, so I remember our suits being like 6 gold last time.
That may have been,
Inflation and everything, you know.
yeah,
Right.
inflation or DM error. One of the two.
Hey, that's just like in real life too.
Right. Alright, I say, guess it's off to the naval harbor.
So it takes you about 2 hours to get to the naval harbor on foot,
We
walking.
really need to hire
We try
a
to
cart.
catch a coach. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say we should.
Can
hire
we
a coach.
hire a coach?
You totally can. They go by every now and again. You're able to get one within 10 minutes. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sure, you make it work. Orwin's not in there. Orwin would have been a deal breaker, but you guys are fine. And it takes about 30 minutes in that case to get across town. And you find yourselves in Mist Shore. I am moving my map because I have you guys' map there, but I don't have mine. You find yourself in Mist Shore. He drops you off at the corner of Sea Lion Street and Sail Street.
Well, now the question is how to figure out where a dragon is hiding in the harbor. I guess do we spread out and start asking people, or like I don't know.
I feel like a harbor master might be a generally good resource to start with.
Yeah, since we got these potions of water breathing, I'm pretty sure it's not just gonna look out. We're just gonna look out into the sea and see it. I'm pretty sure there's gonna be some swimming involved.
Right. I was actually thinking that quite possibly Stormhaven Island has some rocks offshore that might have caves. I'm unaware of how bronze dragons decide where to stay.
Italy, are you familiar with Stormhaven Island? Surrounding geography?
I should be.
Yeah, you can make a roll. Let's see.
Yes.
Stand by one.
I just threw Stormhaven Island out there as a guess.
You know that the tower that's out there is called Smuggler's Bane Tower, and it takes up most of the island. It's a fortification that has been overrun by various groups. It seems like, from what you remember hearing about it, every couple years there was another group that would come in and try and take it over from the previous group, and then, you know, eventually they'd run low on resources or something, and somebody else would take it over.
Oh, so the City Watch doesn't have control over Stormhaven Island?
No, they do not.
Right. Wow.
We can definitely check that place out. I mean, might as well.
Yeah, I think Leo's idea of speaking to the harbor master might give us a general idea.
Yeah, let's give it a try. If worst comes to worst, Quark can fly us over to Stormhaven Island, right? One at a time. You got this.
Not the most efficient manner, but I was also thinking I could do some aerial reconnaissance if you know, all else fails.
Daytime, you should certainly be able to see them all.
Yep, and insofar as we were able to charter a carriage here, we might be able to charter a boat out as well.
I'm certain there's definitely a boat in the harbor that can ferry us across.
Okay. Well, let's go do this.
You, sir. And I'm just gonna call out to whatever, like, dock worker I can find that's, like, first available. Which way to the dock master?
Down that way. He points, and he points basically towards Coin Alley, the area that is to the south. There's, you know, yeah, exactly, all the dock kind of areas.
I will repeat this process until enough general that ways come my direction until we find it.
Yeah, that's fine. That's pretty much what folks say.
Do we find them?
You eventually get down to that area. You see that there are several buildings here. along the dock, and then on the dock itself, some cranes, some different things. But yes, I mean, you probably need to talk to people, but this seems to be the right area.
Is there like any old guys fishing off the docks?
Not this dock. Other docks, yes. But not this dock, no.
Anybody mending nets?
Sure.
I just try to casually spark up a conversation about the day and odd occurrences or disturbances happening in the harbor itself. Fishermen are always very superstitious anyway, so.
He says you need to talk to Loshurian. I heard him going off about seeing a dragon. The fool probably just had too much to drink.
Where can we find him?
Where might I find Lashurian at?
He looks up at the sun to kind of determine what time it is. He says, you'll probably find him in the bar down the street, the Rusty Nail.
Toss him a copper and thank him for telling him to have a great day, yada, yada, yada.
Very good. I'm going to throw it on them. Throw it on here in 1 second. Tavern.
Rusty Nail, you said?
Yep. Yeah, it's right about there. Make it a little smaller. There you go. It's the Rusty Nail.
Do we want to continue heading to the harbor master or the tavern?
You know, that one-eyed guy seemed confident enough, so let's go to check out that tavern and talk to this person. Maybe he's drunk and full of poop, but you know what? I think we can at least take some of his information and compare it to the harbor's master's information that, we get any information and kind of go from there.
Get bits and bits and bits and put them all together.
Yeah.
Sounds like a
Pretty
plan.
much how stories weave themselves. So yeah, let's do that.
So you head into the Rusty Nail.
Yep.
Certainly.
To say that this is a far cry from Trollskull Manor would be a disservice to words. This is the most rundown shanty of a bar. The roof is leaky. There's an unpleasant odor, and you're not sure if it's from the patrons or the beer.
Well, we're on a harbor as well, so that's got to stink.
¿Por qué no los dos? All right, so let's see. What was the name of the guy we're looking for?
Scan the bar for Lashurian, but look around the bar for a second to see if somebody's already telling a tale of a dragon spotted in the harbor.
Everybody make me perception checks, please.
Nailed it.
5.
Oh,
Five.
saw them.
So, yeah, most of you
It's all pretty-
are preoccupied with the
smell.
unique setting, and Quark and Itali. You see that there's maybe 8 people drinking in this bar. It could probably seat 20 more than that, but not many more. And a male elf in the corner seems to be sulking into his drink. And he's the most clean of the group. that's in here?
All right, I'll approach that table.
You approach and he looks up at you.
You seem out of place from everybody else. Also look like you've seen some stuff. Let's
He-
hear your story.
He looks at you. He's like, what do you want to know?
Well, for starters, let's see, what's your name? I'm Itali, by the way.
Well met, Itali. You're not going to try and sell me something, are you?
No, not really, no.
Name's Lashurian.
Hey, just the person I was looking for.
His eyes narrow greatly.
Let me tell you about these essential oils.
He makes a break for the door.
I'm just kidding. I heard down by the dock that you've seen a dragon. Is that correct? I'm not here. I know it sounded like from what those guys said, they think you're like drunk or crazy. I myself don't think that. And I want to know more if I can.
Listen, man. I was out running some errands on my skiff in the harbor. And a friggin' dragon comes out of the water and leaps out at me and says, "What do I know about the Sea Maiden's Fair?" But I was,
Question?
hey, you're telling me I about shite myself. I was too drunk and terrified to say anything, and it just left.
It just popped up and left? That is insane. Now, do you remember about what area that was?
Out in the middle of the harbor.
Middle of the harbor? Okay. Huh. Are you the only one that's ever seen a dragon out there?
Beats me.
Do you think you can find your way back to the approximate area?
No, because I'm not going out there.
Naval Harbor or Great Harbor?
Naval Harbor, the one we're on.
Naval.
Did it look like this? And I'm gonna cast minor illusion. Well, I guess I don't know if this works for that, but minor illusion and make a small figurine of a bronze dragon on the table.
That's what it looked like.
But not like this, and I'll change it to something like a different style of a dragon. Let's say a steel dragon or something.
Friend, I know the difference between bronze, copper, gold, and silver. And it was definitely bronze.
Very good. Many people are not exposed to a bronze dragon.
Well, like I said, I know the difference between bronze and silver. I've never seen any of them until that day. And I don't want to see them again.
Could you direct another boat pilot? Because I don't think we need a captain of the ship to take us to the harbor. To the approximate area you were in. The harbor seems rather large.
He gets up and he opens the door to the bar and he makes sure that you're looking and he points to the middle of the harbor and says, "Just go that way."
How excessively helpful. Thank you so much, Lashurian. What is he drinking?
Whatever they serve here.
Alright, well, I will buy his next round of whatever rat floating in a ale barrel they're serving.
It's 1 copper, and he raises his mug to you. Good luck.
Thanks for the information. All right. Quark, start flying us over there.
I am going to step over to the bar and try to flag down the bartender.
It's so it is human who looks like the first word that comes to mind is greasy. He has one leg. The other leg is literally a peg. And he hobbles over to you and says, "What can I get you?"
I'll take an ale. It's fine. Utility based establishment you've got here. I was curious if there's any tales of sea maidens about the harbor, any folk tales or shanties that may include them if you've ever had a bard pass this way.
He looks around and he gives you your ale and asks for the copper. And he says, "Bards don't come here."
Yeah, fair enough. You ever hear any of the fellows? Well, you seem like you're seasoned enough. You have any stories about the harbors here outside of town for any maidens? Like,
Sea Maidens Fair.
yeah, specifically Sea Maidens Fair ever come to mind?
Stand by.
I can help you jog your memory. I'm gonna take out a silver, put it down on the bar.
He looks at the silver for a moment and then looks at you and then decides to take a 20-minute break. We'll be back in 20 minutes.
Searching that area immediately.
Did you know that you can subscribe to the channel for free if you have Amazon Prime? It's true. All you have to do is sign into your Amazon account, and then go to gaming.amazon.com. On the left side of the screen, under your name, it will ask you to link your Twitch account. Once that's done, just head over to our Twitch channel at twitch.tv/gamersledge. You'll have an option to subscribe using your Twitch Prime. It costs you nothing, but helps support the channel. There is one catch: it runs out in 30 days, so make sure you come back and click the subscribe button again next month if you want to continue supporting great shows like this one. Thanks for helping. Be excellent to each other. And game on.
There's new items in the merch store. Head to bit.ly/gamersledge-merch. That's all one word, Gamers, Ledge, Merch, to check out the newest, latest and greatest gifts like mugs, t-shirts, mouse pads, stickers and more. Show some love for the show creators. They get a cut from each item sold, whether it is a Notice Me Senpai DM t-shirt, or a mug that helps you clarify when a point needs to be made in conversation. There's still a few minutes left in the break. You've got time? We will be here when you get back. Visit bit.ly/gamersledge-merch. Be excellent to each other and merch. I mean, game on.
Our first TTRPG family spotlight is on Dawn's Place YT. That's at Dawn's Place YT on Twitter. Dawn is a community member that has a blog where she does a deep dive and review on tabletop accessories and games. She also has a YouTube channel that you can get to from her link tree. Let's see if we can't get some more subscriptions to her channel if you have the time to head that way. Her link tree is linktr.ee/Dawn's Place.
Are you looking for a D&D podcast with a dark side? Something more like Game of Thrones and less like Monty Python? Tale of the Manticore is part dark fantasy audio drama, part solo D&D RPG. There's no plot armor here. The dice make all the important decisions. Join me as I resurrect the excitement, wonder, and emotion of old school D&D. Made for a mature audience, Tale of the Manticore is both a fiction and a game. It's the story where chaos rolls.
Works of Whimsy Studios is a high-quality craft maker who makes some of the best TTRPG accessories I've ever seen or purchased. I recommend heading to her Etsy store, where you can see giant D20 containers, jewelry, door frame art, and more, but in particular, you'll want to check out her book nooks. These are high-quality mini showcases that fit on your bookshelves between your books. I have one behind me you can see on almost any of my streams, and it's amazing. You can find any of Jess's links at her link tree at linktr.ee/Works of Whimsy Studios. Abyssal Brews is a published TTRPG supplement and magic item producer. They give great advice on Twitter, and you can find their products on Ko-Fi, DriveThruRPG, itch.io, and Roll20. Their alternate travel system, Campfire, makes travel rules easy, fun, and I highly recommend it. Head to abyssalbrews.com/hub for all the goods. And welcome back, everybody. When we left off with the Menagerie, they were on their way. They found their way to Mistshore, asked about it, the Rusty Nail, and found a person who had seen the bronze dragon in the middle of the naval harbor. That is where we pick up with everyone. Welcome back. And what would you guys like to do?
Well, the bartender was about to expand on his understanding from me, very specifically mentioning the Sea Maiden's Fair.
Yeah, and as soon as you say it, JR, make me a history roll.
History.
Because you're the only one who would know what that is. Or you wouldn't. You never paid attention. He takes the silver, and he looks at you and says, "How do you not know about the Sea Maiden's Fair?"
I'm not from around here.
Yeah, so the Sea Maiden's Fair is a series of festivals where all the boats and ships gather in the harbor. They light lanterns that float in the ocean, and it's a good time by all.
Wait, you don't know what the Maiden Sea Fair is? Really? I'm kind of surprised. I'm sorry, guys.
When does this happen?
Happens in the fall.
So is it more of like a party kind of like festival? Does it honor any type of specific god or deity?
I mean, it's to bring good tidings to those with boats, any people sailing on the ocean, those who brave its depths, that type of thing.
Yeah, totally.
But is there any religious aspect to it? Or is it more of do you find that it's a...
I'm sure this might not come as a surprise to you, but I'm not the religious type. So I wouldn't know your answer. It brings in coin. That's the important part for me.
Yeah, now pay the man.
I already took my silver. Is there somebody that organizes the Sea Maiden's Fair? Like, does the harbor master assist in any of the planning, or their,
I'm sure the lords of Waterdeep have something to do with it, but I don't know who runs it.
Thank you for your time and your information. And
Do you take a drink of the...
No, I am very pointedly looking around the establishment, and I wish you a prosperous future here in your establishment.
You're welcome back anytime, as long as you keep bringing gold and silver like this. And he bites it and then tucks it behind his ear.
I'm gonna give him a copper.
You want an ale?
No, just for your information. You already got a silver and we're interested in gold. I want to make sure you have all three.
He just slowly takes the copper.
Yeah.
$1's a dollar. Yeah. I feel like I've exhausted everything I want to do here. And I'm going to turn and
All right.
begin leaving.
Let's go to the middle of the naval harbor.
I'm still going to head. I think it's still appropriate that we might go talk to the harbor master at this point to see if he's got any reports of lost ships or attacks or fires or anything of this nature.
I'm fairly certain bronze dragons are good dragons.
Yeah.
I mean, talking to the harbor master is an excellent idea, but I doubt that a bronze dragon is attacking. There's probably be a lot. There'd probably be a greater uproar if there was a dragon attacking ships, people, boats, fishing lines in the harbor.
That is true.
But the harbor master would definitely have. The harbor master would certainly have reports if he'll talk to us and give us information.
Yep, let's go find the harbor master then.
Okay. You ask about. Eventually, you get to where you are searching. The harbor master. Leathery skin. Looks to be in his 50s, maybe. He says, "Harbor master here. What can I do for you?"
Information, please.
It's dialed full.
What kind of information you looking for?
Dragons. What do you know about them? Aside that they fly. Everybody knows that.
Has there been any sightings of dragons in the harbor? Any reports?
Yeah, some
Rumors?
some drunk people have been saying from time to time, but nothing confirmed.
Is this more recent, or has this been going on for a while?
The last couple weeks.
So more recent.
Can't say I've seen anything or have any credible witnesses.
Right, but no ships have been sunk out in the middle of the harbor or anything like that. Nothing's been attacked.
Not for a few years, no.
So that's probably all rumors then.
When was the last Maiden's Fair?
Last fall? Every fall.
What's the season right now?
It's spring.
Spring. Okay.
Did anything happen during the last Maiden's Fair? Anything in particular of note or out of the ordinary?
Not that I can think of.
When these people say that they've seen dragons, do they tend to see them in the same area?
I haven't had any of the reports come to me directly. Just heard it through some of my underlings.
Okay.
Are any of those underlings working the docks now? Or the harbor now?
He goes and consults some papers. He says, I just won. He's mending nets on the middle dock.
Describe the old guy I talked to mending nets on the dock.
Aye, that's him.
Wonderful. Fantastic. Anybody else?
Are you familiar with any of the landscape inside of the harbor? Any type of rocks to be specifically mindful of? Perhaps some caves or other hideaways that somebody may make use of inside of or nearby the harbor, including it up to the island.
The bottom of the harbor is probably about 120 foot deep. So even if there was something like that, it'd be mighty hard to get to. There are some sunken ships in the middle of the harbor, but again, mostly in pieces on the bottom. Nothing to be worried about, even with a larger vessel.
Is Stormhaven Island currently occupied by anybody or thing that you know of? Aware of?
He puts his finger into the air. He says, different person almost every week now. Different group. Depends which wind's the way's blowing.
Are these groups performing possibly illegal activities?
Hard to say, but They don't interfere because they know the lords would descend upon them immediately if they interfered with the cargo and the harbor workings.
Have you seen any or had any reports of any strange happenings on the island recently, past few weeks, perhaps? Any type of additional lights or late activity or anything of that nature. Not something that would raise a flag necessarily, but just kind of an aside point.
For the
Something odd.
for the island? No, I can't say I have.
Do you know of any boats, any ferries for hire that would take us to the center of the harbor? Do a little fishing, possibly?
I suppose you could, but it's not known to be a good fishing spot. But you definitely could try. Ask along the end of the docks. You should be able to find a few people that would be willing to take you out for a couple coins.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I appreciate all the information you've given me. I don't know if anybody else has any questions.
You specifically noted that nothing odd had happened out on the island. Has there been anything odd elsewhere?
Oh no, not really. I was just saying I don't necessarily recall anything having to do with the island.
All right. Well, let's go on and get us a boat.
And
Thank
can I see if I'm trusting everything that he's saying?
Absolutely. Make me an insight check.
Yeah.
He seems to believe what he's saying. Let's put it that way.
Well, thank you very much for your time. I understand you're a busy man, and we'll find a ship to charter, perhaps.
Hi, good luck to you.
All right. Make our way to the end of the dock.
You find someone without any real problem that will take you out for. How long do you want to stay out for?
At least 3 hours.
Yeah.
Couple hours, 3 hours.
3-hour tour.
He'll do it for 5 silver for 3 hours.
What time of day is it now?
It is probably 10:30 in the morning. Oh, I'm sorry. You guys started at 11.
Oh, yeah, we
My
started
bad. Yeah, I was thinking of the 4-hour people. So 11 took you 30 minutes. 30 minutes to get over here. You stopped at the shop. That probably took you about an hour. So 12:30. Asking around. I'd say 1:30, 2 o'clock, somewhere in there.
So I'm guessing springtime, so the sun is still setting kind of early. All right, yeah. So bring us back about dusk. Okay, yeah. That works perfect.
Okay. So you all get in the boat. Autumn, this is your first time ever in a boat.
Okay.
You are surrounded by water. There is no land. This seems horribly unnatural.
I point out that the land is definitely underneath you. Way down there.
Should we bring like a jar of dirt or something?
Too late.
It takes you about 10 minutes, 15 minutes to get to the middle of the harbor. He then looks very confused because it does not appear any of you have any fishing gear.
You didn't have fishing tackle on him? On the boat?
He's not a fisherman.
I'm gonna just call him Scully. Scully, we're here for a little bit of sightseeing. Our friend here's never actually been out on a boat. We're really looking to go around in the harbor, see all the sights, and serpentine a little bit around the mid bit here. We want to get the sailing experience. We don't really seek to leave the harbor necessarily, but kind of just going about out here and
Maybe
get
some
a
of the
little bit of time out
history
on the
or
beautiful water. Yeah, some history and some tales of the good times that you've had in the harbor and your experiences. We're just the tourists. We're looking for an authentic experience.
I'm gonna throw 2 pieces of silver over the boat.
Over the edge?
Yeah, over the edge.
Okay.
Anything happen?
you lose 2 silver.
Remove 2 silver from your character sheet.
The ferryman looks at you in sheer terror and dives off the edge to go after you.
Your 2 splash into the water and disappear.
Okay.
How long does a potion of water breathing last?
That is a great question. I'm glad you asked. Potion of water breathing.
Because I think it's actually a set time.
It is. It is a set
random
time.
amount of time.
No. Let's see.
You didn't happen to take locate objects, did you?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
Potion of water breathing. 1 hour. It's a cloudy green fluid in the bottle, and it has a jellyfish-like bubble floating in it.
Awesome.
I have an idea, but we may need to revisit this. Callie, you've actually inspired me.
What'd I do?
I think that your gift to the harbor, and I'm going to be, I guess that would be metagaming for me to explain it. Your gift to the harbor has inspired me to return, perhaps in a couple days' time, with some additional preparations. Perhaps we'll bring our fishing equipment the next time, Scully.
All right.
I'm going to attempt to message in the general direction of the bottom of the harbor to an intelligent being that I would assume that the bronze dragon is. Just the words "Sea Maiden's Fair." And I'll try it in several directions. Just in.
One second. I'm reading. Huh. All right. Sure. You cast that, and you say "Sea Maiden's Fair," and you hear, "Tell me."
Well, nothing in particular, just that you were looking.
Okay.
I didn't actually expect that to work.
I didn't expect you to do it. So that's.
Can you ask it to bring me back my 2 silver?
Absolutely not.
1 second.
Leo,
Yeah.
I will message you that I sent message out into the harbor, and I got a response. It wants to know about the Sea Maidens Fair.
I'm
At
going to cast Whaler's Ward.
at that
without
moment,
notifying everybody.
as soon as you finished your sentence, the water begins to displace, and the dragon bursts out of the water with its, how do I explain that? Its wings are spread and its teeth are bared, and I need everybody to roll for initiative.
My bad, guys.
Where's our tokens at?
So your tokens are back at, hold on, at Troll Skull. Let me move the map. Or move you guys. Hold on one second. I'll move you down there, so give me 1 second.
Oh, I didn't click my thing. Not that it changed much. Did I get Whaler's Ward off before initiative?
I will say probably not. Can you click on Whaler's Ward for me? Perfect, thank you. Yeah. Okay. What'd you get?
19.
19? Nice. Speedy. Uh-oh.
Quark spreads wings and flies away.
He's like, I'm out.
Y'all didn't say anything about dragons.
Come on, character sheet. Initiative. Click.
I did not sign up for dragons.
There we go. So 19. And then roll 20s. Well, my instance must have crashed. I don't have access to my stuff. That's all right. Hold on 1 second. Okay, I'll keep track of it like that. Okay, very good. So, All right, so if I sort these by descending, there we go.
While that's going on, I'm gonna be gone for like just 3 seconds. I gotta bring in my dog.
Okay, Quark, you're up first.
Okay, so not to fly away, but I am actually going to take off.
Okay.
Get a little bit of airborne, try and maybe distract it toward me and away from the boat. Was it okay? Quark doesn't really know dragons, but if I had to guess at the age based on the previous dragon we fought, knowing was a juvenile, would I say this seems to be a
Young,
medium, old, youngish? So,
yeah.
So,
Older than the one you've fought, but young.
Still not old. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm actually going to try to talk to it. I mean, it hasn't attacked us yet, but it doesn't. It's looking kind of potentially threatening. So let's see. Hello there, young Sir Dragon. Could you please inform us of what it is you need? We are here to help. We want to peaceably resolve any situations that may arise here, and we are just quite most interested in what it is you need and how we can help you.
Make me a persuasion check.
Yeah.
Oh, yay!
Nice.
He says, really?
Yes, truly. We are here to help.
You're not here to try and take my treasure.
No, we have no need of your treasure. We are quite successful on our own, thank you very much. We just want to make sure that you are taken care of, and that, if possible, we could help you relocate your treasure to a less populous area.
Well, I can't do that because there's still, I'm not done searching down there yet.
Well, fair. But what else is it that you seek? You seem to be seeking information about the Sea Maiden's Fair. What is it about this event that entices you thus?
Well, I mean, the ships are so interesting and the parties seem so wonderful. I mean, there's lots of goodies in Deepwater Harbor, and how could I not start collecting them? And I keep asking sailors about the Sea Maiden's Fair, but, no one wants to talk to me.
Well, you can understand large reptilian creatures and these sailors don't have the best history. There's a bit of a stigma there, so I do feel they are quite a bit afeard of you, though you seem to be a most reasonable chap.
I just want to know why.
Well, here's the rub. The Sea Maiden's Fair is not going to be for about another 5 months. So,
can we talk yet or no?
Yeah, it's Autumn's.
How much longer can?
It's Autumn's turn.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah.
What do you want to do?
Anything you want to say to the dragon?
No, I'm good.
You don't want to ask it any questions?
No.
Okay. Methalus?
Well, as Quark was saying, the Sea Maiden's Fair is held in the fall, and it's really just humans appealing to the gods to have a bountiful year and a safe year. So they light lanterns and float them in the harbor. They decorate the ships.
And they have parties on the ships.
Of course. Did you want to attend a party?
That would be amazing.
You know, in that form, you right?
Oh, I could turn into a human and do it. But what's the fun in that? Gotta be all cramped in that little body? No offense.
None taken. I find humans cramped myself. But it would allow you to gain more insight into the what, why, and how of the Maiden's Fair.
I suppose. It's more of a curiosity, just because nobody ever talks to me. Thank you for talking to me. You're the first person that's reached out to try to talk to me about it. Everybody else, I come up, I say hi, they freak out.
Well, truth be told, we're all freaking out right now as well, but without the claws and the angry face, it seems a little less fearsome.
Well, I just didn't want you coming down there to try and take my interesting goodies that I've been finding.
I have no interest in ever fighting a dragon for their goodies.
Well, I'm not going to hurt the city. I'll wait for 5 months. I'll just keep exploring the bottom out here. I won't hurt anybody. I'm not here for that. I'm here for shinies.
So, may I ask your name?
My name? Zelipharn.
Zelipar?
Zelipharn. With an N.
What a majestic name. How long have you been here, Zelipar?
I came during the last Sea Maiden's Fair. And then everyone was so rude, I just said, screw it, and I left. But I just got back, a couple weeks ago.
I would assume Leo's turn to talk has arrived.
It has.
Do you intend to really just focus on building your treasure and your hoard here at the bottom of the harbor?
Oh no, I'm not building it here. I'm just exploring.
Oh, you're collecting.
Yeah. Take it back when I'm done.
I was going to say this is a very high traffic place to leave it, which is why I found
Yeah, but all these broken ships are really deep.
Yeah. I would just be concerned about somebody less scrupulous becoming aware of your efforts if you were to stay here too long.
I figured it'd take me another week to get through it all. Shouldn't be too long.
That's not good. Are you generally interested in parties or just the seafaring type of party?
Well, I love good party no matter what it is.
And would you mind going as a human?
That's
You could also be an elf.
Well, I guess the question I have for your question is, where are we talking about?
There's a very interesting event inside the city.
Can't do it.
A bunch of very well-to-dos.
Can't go in there.
Is it somebody else's territory? Is that the issue?
No, and he flies out of the water towards the harbor, and as soon as he gets to where the edge of land is, he slows and just flaps there and reaches his hand out, and literally you can see that there's a force field or a bubble that prevents him from going into the city. And then he flies back as people start getting extremely alarmed. He flies back and says, probably bad idea. They're probably freaking out on the floor now. But he lands back in the water and just kind of like kicks back on his back and crosses his legs and just lets his wings float out there. So yeah, sorry, can't go to anything in the city.
Well, if there is cake, I will bring you some.
Now that would be awesome. What what were all of your names?
We're a group called the Menagerie, and we do odd jobs here and there to help people out. And there was a report of you in the harbor, and we had to come check to make sure that you weren't intending harm upon the sailors in the city.
Oh no, I mean, a little conversation wouldn't kill anyone, but no, just mainly checking out the cool stuff at the bottom.
Would kill us, but as Quark mentioned, sailors and serpents don't get along.
Sailors are a superstitious lot.
Apparently. Plus, they're all religious. Every time I come up to say hi to them, they start chanting their god.
Yeah, like I said, superstitious.
Did you want somebody to let you know, like, when the Maiden's Fair is? Like, send you a message or something, that way you're ready for it?
Oh, if it's 5 months, I got plenty of time to prepare. Thanks for letting me know that.
But, you know, just in case, we can send you a message your way, kind of like we did here. That way, you know, hey,
well,
you can send you a message through the bottle, just throw it down in the water.
Yeah, no, that's a bad idea. The message thing you did here, I mean, I was actually kind of just poking through a ship. Luckily, I happened to be close enough to hear it. I think that thing only works for 120 feet, so if I'm in the really deep parts, it's not going to work. But I'll just remember, 5 months from now, I got it. Thank you, though.
Okay. And you sure you're not interested in coming into Quark's birthday party?
He points to the edge of the city. Did you see how I put my hand there and I can't go into the city?
Oh yeah, I was thinking we could have like get a little boat, get a few boats out here. One boat for cake, the other boat for, you know, presents, and then the other boat for guests and whatnot. A bigger boat, I guess.
So,
and
you're gonna have a boat with nothing but cake in it?
Well, yeah.
Well, maybe
a lot of cake.
Yeah.
And is all the cake for me?
We'll get another boat just for you for cake.
So you're gonna have 4 boats, 1 for people, 1 for presents, and 2 whole skiffs for cake. And you're telling me all you smaller people are gonna eat a boat's worth of cake?
Well, it's gonna be more like 30 boats. I don't think many people are gonna give Quark presents. I mean, not many people know him.
So you built him up that there was gonna be a boat full of presents, and now you're retracting the boat full of presents.
Well, yeah, you turned that idea down.
Notice, if you will, that he doesn't make much sense very often, but he does tell interesting stories.
But yeah, this way you're not, you know, you wanted to go to a party, right? I'm just saying we can bring a party to you. This way you can be a part of it. And I understand you don't want to be in human form. I'm pretty sure I can think of at least one other person aside from us that would love to meet you and to talk to you. And this way you can enjoy, you know, having a party and making friends. That way you're not alone.
Roll me a persuasion check.
All right.
It's not your day.
Not my day. That's like the second one.
Oh, at least you weren't lying to him. It's not an ambush, right? Like,
no,
you're not gonna like promise me cake and then I get up here and then you try and kill me.
No, in fact, you've mentioned that a few times, and I get the feeling that you have probably had issues with people doing something similar to that.
You think?
I mean,
No,
I'm
he
just
doesn't.
guessing.
Not very often.
That is true, but I'm not going to complain against that. But the point being is, it seems like you've gone through that, and we don't want anything to mess up for you here, because it seems like you're just trying to get some shiny stuff from at the bottom of the sea.
That's it.
And yeah, I don't really have much shiny things. I just like books, so
Like,
I have no need for shiny things.
I'm not a company, but if I was a company, my mission statement would be get shiny things. That's it. Pretty simple.
Perfect.
You know
Well,
if there's any shiny things over on the island at the other end of this harbor here?
No. I wouldn't know. You know, they tend to. In fact, I'm kind of surprised they haven't sent any wizards over here to try and kill me now. But they tend to freak out when you dragons above water, etc. So that's why I'm just picking through the stuff at the bottom. It's interesting.
well, they didn't send any to kill you, just to figure out your intentions.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're the expedition group. We would be the people that would have been sent to hunt you down, but they didn't tell us to hunt you down. So, glad to have you with us. Glad to meet you, Velafar. And if I've got some cake, I might not have 2 skiffs of cake, frankly, but I've got some.
Well, tell me more about this gifts of cake party, because now I'm kind of interested. When are we talking?
Oh, we were thinking like probably next week.
Next
It's gonna
week?
be, yeah. I mean, originally it was going to be a surprise party, but here we are talking about it in front of him, so it can't be much of a surprise. But you know what you could do is you could pop out of the water, and that'll surprise the heck out of him.
Well, let me tell you, Birdman, that you may not be surprised, but I'm surprised that there's going to be a 2 cakes gift party happening here.
Yeah.
Although, to be honest, I still feel bad for you. You should get presents. That was a very cruel thing for him to do. You should get a skiff's worth of presents out of him.
Matt, you're muted. Matt.
Well, presents at the said party would be more than enough of a present.
Oh, and he word plays as well. An eloquent bird. I can't say I've seen your kind around here before.
Yes, I'm not from. I don't know where I'm from relative to here, to be honest. But this is definitely not home for me. One of those fell asleep and woke up in a strange land type deals.
Sounds like the beginning of a story. Well, thanks for reaching out. What day are we talking about for the party?
What's today's day?
Tuesday.
Tuesday. Next Friday. I think parties have to be held on a Friday, or you know what? Better yet, Saturday. That way, there's more people free and more cake and more presents. And yeah.
Saturday at what time? Dusk? Before dusk? During the day?
Yeah, we'll make our own mini Sea Maidens fair. That's what we'll do. We'll do it at dusk so that we can have some lights on the boats. And we may not necessarily look it, but he's pretty good on an instrument too.
All right. I'm looking forward to this. The Menagerie. I will see you at dusk on Saturday of next week.
Guys, we better remember this.
Yeah. Seems
I
like
threw
a
some.
trend.
I threw 2 silvers down. You can have those. Just FYI.
You better get him some presents still, though. But you're all right by me. And he submerges under the water, and you see bubbles. Lots of large bubbles.
Not tiny bones.
No.
Scully, I'm sorry that we didn't tell you about this, but I feel like you probably wouldn't have let us use your boat.
What the flark? Scully has been like not moving an inch for that entire exchange. He's got an oar in both hands and white-knuckled gripped onto it. He has not moved an inch.
Scully, what are you doing next Saturday?
we're gonna need a bigger boat.
You won't be filling up my boat with cake, I can tell you that much. And he starts to turn and starts rowing back to the shore.
We still had 2 hours left.
That is true. We should get the full 2 hours.
You can take it up with the Better Business Bureau.
That was his dragon surcharge. Took up the other 2 hours.
He doesn't make a lot of conversation on the way back. And eventually he gets you back to shore.
Scully was smart. He wore the brown pants.
They weren't brown beforehand, but they are now.
All right. Well, I guess we can report to Blackstaff Tower.
Oh, please do tell me what's going to be in this report.
We got a party coming up, I guess.
Determined intent of Dragon to clear out the shipwrecks inside of the harbor. Established communications, non-aggressive.
More
warned
inquisitive
of-
than anything else. Lonely sounding. Wanted to talk.
Warned of interactions with sailors. Promised follow-up with Dragon for Saturday night.
Yeah, we need to create a mini Sea Maidens fair. At least 3 or 4 boats.
Require chartering of 3 to 4 small skiffs, 2 of which must be filled with cake.
And 1 with presents.
Yeah, so we're gonna need like 5 boats.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna actually write it in the report, I think.
Beautiful.
We'll submit the whole thing over.
Beautiful.
The entire how I got its attention in the first place, what its intentions are, and then Itali's just Toad's Wild Ride of skiffs and cake and presents.
Hey, I don't know what you got. Like, at the end, that dragon said I was all right. So I think that's something.
Celiforn thinks that Itali is all right.
Yeah, include that in the report.
Oh, it's going in. It's included.
Fair enough. All right. And then are you hand delivering that?
Hand delivering
Yeah,
that.
Itali and I
For
don't know if
certain.
Itali, Quark, and Autumn are gonna go with us, but I'm sure Mythilus and I will go over to the Blackstaff to get it delivered.
Does anyone want to do anything besides go to Blackstaff as they deliver this?
While they're doing that, I'm gonna go find Volo, I guess.
I would tell him about the party. He
Yeah.
must attend.
Itali's gonna run off solo and tell Volo about the party. And this is gonna turn into like hundreds of ships end up out in that harbor because of his mouth.
Well, we want it to be like a mini maidens fair.
Oh, I don't mind. I don't mind.
No, this is gonna be fantastic.
Yeah, this will be fun.
Hey, so I jumped in the hole.
Oh, we can make this a launch party for the
Ooh.
tavern.
That is a good idea. What a better way to, get people's attention.
We got ghosts and dragons.
Oh
and
my.
This is going well.
Yeah, that is way better. We were originally going to do just goats and dragon, but now we have ghosts and dragons. Like, this is great. This is turning out great.
We're gonna do goats and flagons. Now we got goats and dragons.
Yeah.
Floats and flagons. That's one thing we could rename the bar.
Yeah.
Man.
So
But, at this rate, I think Quark's birthday party is going to be better than Bolo's birthday party.
Yeah, we need to
It's
rename
not even
Skull
my
Troll
birthday.
Tavern to like the Ghost and Flagon or something.
So Itali wanders off to find Volo, probably at the Yawning Portal. Autumn, Quark, Leo, and Mythilus all head to the Black Spire.
Might as well.
Okay. You're able to get there. They let you in. They take you on the fancy magical elevator that takes you to the top. And At the top, you find...
Lady Vajra, right?
Yep,
Vajra?
Vajra.
I can't even keep a straight face. I was like, oh, you're gonna love this. And just enter the report.
And she reads it, and at first it's, you know, she's reading the factual. Then you can see her brow line begin to furrow as she gets towards the second. And as she reaches towards the end of it, she says, "You need a what?"
Yeah. So, about that. We did have a bard in the group, and he is one for his tales.
Well, I mean, at least it does seem like he's not aggressive.
No, not in the least.
We
Very inquisitive.
to develop him into an asset for future use. And so some part of that is placating his desire for this event.
Attention, at least.
2 skiffs of cake and a skiff full of presents. I suppose that can be done if it turns into an asset for the Blackstaff.
That is the present intent.
That is the intention.
This is uncharted territory, granted, and we understand that it seems to be a very bizarre request. However, it seems as though it's one that's been quite intriguing to the dragon.
She rolls her eyes. You've obviously never been to one of the Lord's parties. This is mundane.
Yes, but you don't know us from...
We're definitely not one of the Lords of Waterdeep, so for us, this is a bit out of the ordinary.
Well, here's what I know. You keep interesting company, and she looks at you, Autumn, because this is the first time that you've met her. You actually got on some apparatus that rose magically up through the levels of the tower. You could see people practicing magic and combat, and then you entered into these chambers. She says, "And I know you're capable," which is perhaps the most important part. This is the 4th task that I have given you that you have completed expediently. So, if this is what you need, it shall be what you have. A week from Saturday. But let it be known that we are sponsoring this event.
Well, certainly. We can make a banner, put it up in lights, illusions, whatever you like.
That is a good idea. Perhaps I will send a few mages to help with that sort of thing, add to the party atmosphere.
Just make sure everybody knows that the dragon is friendly.
Well, of course. It's completely fine as long as it's not attacking people, which it had not been, other than scaring a few drunk sailors, which is why I wanted you to investigate in the first place.
We simply sought company, which I think is where we're going to be able to fulfill that need and perhaps convince it to become an asset for us. Will, knowingly or not, I don't try to sell the intelligence of Dragon short when I can help it.
I just don't understand why it wouldn't turn into a human and seek people out inside the city.
Finds the form cramped.
Okay, but if it's bothering you that much, then perhaps a little discomfort would be fine for finding people to talk to. It's just kind of odd.
Demonstrate that there was a barrier about the city that prevented his entry. I don't know if that was simply due to his form or if there was something else. Are you involved in the maintenance of that barrier?
No, that is quite odd. I will do some research into this. And she writes an addendum on the bottom of your report. One moment. Give me just one moment. I need to check one thing here. She says, is there anything else that you would have of me besides your report?
I feel like that really sums it up for the day.
It has been an interesting one.
She... One second.
Unless you have a way of seeing through disguises.
She says, not disguises, but I was planning to hand this over to you, as it were, anyways. And she hands... Can I show you this? Yes. Show to player, show to everyone. She hands you a wand of secrets. And you should be able to see what it does towards the bottom as well. So figure out who you want to have that. So 3 charges while holding it. You can use an action to expend one of its charges. And if a secret door or trapper is within 30 feet of you, it pulses and points at the one nearest to you.
Well, I feel like me being the one who's always in the front looking for stuff, this might help. I mean, we all have it. We all use it.
She also...
I'll grab it.
Okay.
Wonderful.
She also gives each of you it is thinking about it. Oh, come on. Okay, she gives each of you a potion of resistance as well. Potion of resistance.
Having 5 potions of resistance?
What's that?
4?
1, 2, 3, 4. 4 of you.
Resist what?
It's it lasts up to a minute from when you drink it. And you can roll a d4 and add the number rolled to one saving throw of your choice. You can roll the die before or after making a saving throw. So everybody has, well, everybody but Atali has one of those.
Thank you very much for the items of our apothecary and the wand. I feel that this may assist with our future endeavors, not only for the Black Staff, but also our own safety. So, thank you for this.
Absolutely.
As it may be, when the libraries are open to us, that would be a very rewarding feature.
They are open to you now.
Oh, very good. Well, return at some point later for those. I appreciate that sincerely. At some point, can I get a spell list of anything that's available for research or copying?
Yes, you can, eventually.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because I don't have it right now.
Yeah.
Locate object, not one of those.
We actually have locate object already. It is only the cost of copying, because we got that in the Uza Gazer kill reward. We have alarm, comprehend language, disguise self, illusory script, knock, misty step, and locate object are sitting in the library.
Awesome. Yeah, I need to copy those. Or a couple of them.
Yeah, money bags over here. I'm gonna copy all of them.
She says, unless there's anything else I can do for you.
No. Thank you, Lady Voldra. Glad to have been of service, and hope to hear from you in the future.
Well, we'll be seeing her soon for the skiffs.
You're right.
Indeed.
See you in about a week and a half.
See you then. And you all exit the tower. It is at this point that Cork, a white fluffy cat, runs up to you and it looks at you, and all of the rest of you hear the cat go meow 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 meow. And Cork, you hear it say, I've lost it. 1 second. Oh, there it is. Got it. You hear it say, we have another task for you, one which will gain you admittance to the largest library in the city. Come at your convenience. EE.
That was EE, is that right? Easy E is in Waterdeep? That's awesome.
Andy's got a license to ill.
Dang.
So, turn to the others. It appears we have another task from the Emerald Enclave, one that would quite possibly greatly interest Sir Leonardo, as it will, and I quote, gain us admittance to the largest library in the city.
Yeah, see, this is why you go take care of the undead. I'm with you.
So, they would like us to visit at our earliest at our convenience, not earliest, it's just at our convenience. We do have the party tomorrow. That all took us to what? Well, is it pushing evening now?
Yeah, it was slightly before dusk by the time you got in, and then yeah. So it's starting to get into actual night now.
I mean, I have a feeling the Emerald Enclave wouldn't mind us arriving now if we wanted to just go get the details. Otherwise, if we want to return and prepare for our...
I say get the details now. May as well.
If we probably grab a carriage just to save some time.
Okay, and you head over. When you get to the gates, they open as if expecting you. And as you walk through the marbled path that leads through the gardens, you do not see Fellbranch. And instead, when you get to the area that you spoke with Fellbranch last, you hear a voice in your head. Each one of you individually hears it. And Jareth says, "Hello, friends, and well met. I apologize. I would normally have Master Fellbranch dispatch a quest to you, but I would actually ask one of you myself. First, well met to the Hamadryad. Our grounds have never been blessed by one such as yourself.
Thank you.
Are you willing to fight for nature?
Yes.
Would you like to join us in this endeavor for the Emerald Enclave?
Are we all going?
They've already been here.
Oh,
It's your first time.
okay.
She... By the way, you have no idea who's talking to you exactly. It's just a voice in your head. But a golden leaf pin appears in your hand. And a charm. And I'll let you know what that charm does here in a bit. She says, "You are most welcome amongst our ranks. Your compatriots have been a very large help already. I would have you speak with Loris Nis, my librarian at the Font of Knowledge. It is the city's largest library, and I am its patron. It seems Loris is quite upset about something, but I'm not sure what. Will you take this task for me?"
Yes, so speak with Lorisness at the Font of Knowledge. Is that on these premise, or where is that located?
No, it is
In the city.
yeah. I'll mark it on your map. Yep. I'm actually checking if it's on my giant. It is. It's like, is it on my thing? Okay, so it is. It's due west of the market, and I will mark it on the. I will put a marker on the map here momentarily.
I'll mark it by the market.
Yeah, I'll mark it by the market. It is. Oh, actually, it's already marked on your map. I'm just pinging it right now. It's the Font of Knowledge. So right by Blackstaff Tower, actually. I'm trying to get it on the stream map as well. There we go. Yep, so if you look just to the left of the market, it's the L-shaped building underneath Chazal's Race, and just to the right of Sword Street. I'm pinging it right now.
Oh, okay.
It should say... Does it not say Font of Knowledge on yours? It doesn't, does it?
No.
Sorry, stand by. I think I know why. There. Now it says Font of Knowledge, doesn't it?
It does.
Huzzah!
Magic.
Hey, you know what? I just realized you can't see Blackstaff Tower either. Huzzah is right next to it. Yay, layers. Oh, snap. I wonder if Trollskull Manor is hidden for you guys, too.
I think so. I don't think I've actually seen it.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yep, Trollskull Alley is totally on the wrong layer. Ta-da! There it is.
There we go. Look at that.
Look at that, being able to see stuff. Anyways.
The fog of war is lifted.
Sort of. So, yeah. So, yeah. That's the Font of Knowledge. She gives you directions to go there. She says, "I fear that she has probably gotten herself in quite a bind. And unfortunately, they are closed for today. I would recommend going in the next 2 or 3 days."
We do have some other engagements to see to, but we should be able to make it within that time frame. We will discern the issue and report back upon its resolution.
Excellent. Thank you, Menagerie.
Our pleasure.
And then there's a sensation like a wisp of smoke folding in on itself, and then you can tell that she's not there anymore.
Well, having that, it's not an urgent request. I'd say we head back to the manor.
You all arrive back at the manor?
Tali went to the yawning portal.
Yes, he did. Itali, you get to the yawning portal.
Ooh, looking for Bolo.
He's up on the second level, right where you left him.
All right, I'm gonna go up there and approach him and take a seat at his table.
He says, young Itali, I was just looking forward to getting back and speaking more with your father.
That's awesome. I'm sure he will like your visit. He seemed pretty happy last time you visited. I really appreciate you doing that. I think that helps him remember, bring back memories of when he was alive, I guess.
I have to say, I wasn't lying when I said I was working on a book of spirits, but sadly, it was more imbuing than actual spirits. This is the first solid information I have for my book, so I'm quite grateful.
Well, that's awesome. We all need a few solids here and there to keep healthy. Anyways, what I wanted to ask you is, what are you doing next Saturday? Because I understand you love seeing interesting things and interviewing them, and you seem like a pretty charismatic person, and I would like to invite you to a special party. I don't want to give out too much information just because special guest is a little bit shy, so I want to keep it small.
Well, you definitely have your father's gift for spinning a tale that pulls the viewer in. I'm obviously interested, but you are going to have to tell me a little bit more about this special guest.
I want to say more, but I feel like it would get you really excited. I just want you to trust me that it will be someone that you will be really excited to meet and interview. I understand you're writing a book of spirits. It's not going to be on that, but I'm sure this will be a book that you'll end up writing in the future, and it'll help you in those endeavors.
He looks directly at you. He's got that. And he looks you straight in the eyes, and he says, wow, why can't I spell today? Persuasion. How do I... There we go. He looks you straight in the eyes and he says, we've been friends for a good bit now. It wouldn't do to keep me completely in the dark.
Am I supposed to roll something?
Yes, you need to roll a... Yeah, roll a wisdom save.
Wisdom? Is that where I click the number or the word wisdom?
It's the one that says save. It says wisdom save. Yeah.
Okay.
You can tell he really wants to know something about this. What you do with that is up to you since you've won the roll.
I know you really want to know who this guest is, and honestly, keeping it like this is what's going to keep you even more excited once you see it next week. I will tell you this, there's going to be cake, and it is kind of a surprise birthday. Well, no longer a surprise. It's a birthday party for Quark. I promise you, Quark is not the guest I'm speaking of, even though he is interesting in his own way. But it's one of the people attending this party that I believe will interest you. And there'll be a lot of cakes. In fact, there's going to be a boat full of cake.
Listen, my boy. Have you ever interviewed someone?
Not really, no.
Well, you can't just show up and ask questions off the top of your head. You need background. You need information. You need preparation in order to have a good interview.
Well, I'm
So-
sure you, as a seasoned interviewer, can do that on the spot.
No, it
Or-
takes weeks
Yeah.
in most cases of preparation time, research about the individual. You have to give me
Although, if things
something.
go well, this isn't going to be the only time you encounter this person.
If it is a party you are throwing and you want people to be there, the more you can tell me, the more I can help.
Okay. But I just need one thing.
All right?
You can't, number one, don't want a lot of people there. Again, this person is really shy.
So it's about quality and not quantity.
Exactly. Exactly. It's about
Understood.
quality, not quantity.
Understood.
And they're really protective, so they've been, hurt in the past by people. And we're trying to make sure it's good people that show up.
All right.
All right. So this is a dragon that is going to show up for Quark's birthday party. I know, it's hard to believe.
Make a persuasion check for me.
Persuasion. Oof.
The bard who could +9 and like 12 is the highest you can roll.
Today is not my day for rolling.
My God, you're serious. What color dragon?
Brass colored dragon.
Brass?
Bronze.
It's one of the B ones. Actually, bronze.
Oh, that's better. There's a bronze. Wait. What?
I'm sure you've heard about it over at the harbor, right?
I'd heard rumors, but you managed to track down this dragon.
Actually, it was Mythilus who managed to track down. I just invited it to a party. That's all.
And when is this party taking place?
Next Saturday.
Well, I have quite the number of small, quality guests that will help make this a party to remember. It is not every day that one gets to meet a dragon.
Exactly. And remember to bring gifts for Quark. That's mostly what we're celebrating.
Well played. I should have plenty to choose from once we finish my party.
Exactly. Just bring them like a twig. Cool. Well, I'm going to be on my way. I'm really happy I ran into you. I'm really sure you're going to love this party. And it'll be a great day for everybody, and it'll be stories we can tell for years to come.
Where is it happening and when?
It's happening next Saturday. Let's see. It's going to be at dusk. And it is going to be over at the... Hold on, I'm trying to move this now. Naval Harbor.
I understand. I will make sure to be there with bells on, have my interviewing questions ready, and bring some guests of
Yeah.
high quality.
Yeah, and if you have some boats, bring those along with you. We're trying to make this a little bit kind of like the maiden fair that they have down there.
Absolutely.
Think of it like that, but a miniature version of that. That's what we're shooting for.
Interesting. But if you have a boat full of cake how will someone be able to get in it to cut it without contaminating the cake?
You know, we'll work on logistics later. I'm more of a planner. I'm not more of a logistics person.
Details.
Yeah, details. That if you want details, you go to Leonardo. Like, I'm just a planner.
Well, I look forward to this. Thank you for telling me your little secret, and I will see you then.
Just to help you out, the dragon loves shiny things, like I believe most dragons do. He's more looking to collect. Just in case you're looking to donate, I donated some stuff, just in case.
So I need to bring a present for Quark and presents for the dragon.
Like I said, it's Quark. Just give him like a twig or something.
This isn't a tithe, so it doesn't attack the city, is it?
Was that?
This isn't a tithe, so it doesn't attack the city, is it?
No, it's not going to attack the city.
Well, I'm excited. I might be able to preempt that Fizbin fellow from publishing his book on dragons first, if I can get this out.
See, helping each other out.
Excellent. I look forward to it. Thank you, Master Atali.
You're welcome. You have a great rest of your day. And I'm going to walk back to Troll Skull Manor.
Gotta get so much anxiety when you're alone.
I'm surprised that, like, literally the Lords of Waterdeep aren't all coming.
You don't know that yet.
Dude, I have no idea what's going to happen to this party.
This is great because Mark said that he was running out of ideas not too long ago. So it's like, I'm helping.
Oh, no. It's not that I'm running out of ideas. It's that you were catching up to what I had prepared. But
see, there we go. I'm helping.
Yes, you are helping. Because if you would have asked me how this session would have gone tonight,
this would not have been one of
a party with cake boats for a dragon is not how I would have predicted at all. But that's great. I'm down.
Yeah. Great night.
So, fantastic. So, you all head back to Troll Skull. It is not late, but it's probably late enough. It's about 9:30. Anyone care to do anything before we end the evening and the session?
I wanted to copy one of those. What was that? Find object. Whoop.
Locate object. Yeah, locate object.
Hey, you've already got that in your spellbook?
I don't, because I'm poor.
Okay, yeah, so locate object, I want to at least get that into my spellbook.
So that's 50 gold, 50 dragons. 50 gold.
Yep.
That you have to pay to do that.
Yep.
Okay. You can add that to... Oh, I have to do that. We'll do that after session here real quick. All right. Anything else?
Misty Step's also available if you're looking for that.
I absolutely want Misty Step. That'll be 100 gold then, right?
Correct, for both of them.
Second level.
Yep.
Misty Step's the second level, right?
Yeah, it is.
Is it 25 gold per level or 50 gold per level?
No, it's per spell. It's just more expensive when you're buying it off of people.
Yeah, it's just 50. It's 50 per.
Oh, it's 50 per. Okay.
Yeah. So 100 total for those two.
Yep.
And I'll fix those here right after the session.
Yeah, I'll take Misty Step as well, and I'll drop 50 gold off of mine.
All right. So the magic users sequester themselves in the libraries, giggling to themselves as they are copying scrolls.
The magic users need to get something for Quark for his birthday, a ring of night vision. Just throwing that out there.
We're working on it. First level spells right now.
By the way, who were all the people? It was Brand, I believe Orwin, Quark, and Atali were, and now Autumn were the ones that joined the Emerald Enclave?
Yes.
Okay. So the charms that you have are 3 charge charms that give you it's the same as using a healing potion, but they do not recharge.
And did we get the clothes that we were supposed to?
The clothes that you were supposed to get?
No.
It's still the same day.
It's still the same day. It won't be done till noon tomorrow. But yes, that should be done at noon tomorrow. Party tomorrow evening.
As that dragon came up and Quark goes flying into the air.
I was seriously tempted to have him try, but he's a young dragon. He's not like that big, so wouldn't be like a snack for him.
I get the feeling that the day of the party is the day that Dex characters come back, and he's just gonna show up in the middle of the party and start attacking the dragon because he doesn't know what's going on.
That would be funny.
Or in the middle of the party, he pops out of the bubble, punch and kick mid fly out. Yeah.
And lands in the cake.
There was something I was going to tell you. No, I forgot what. Oh, so the other thing about those charms is that they can be used at the speed of a bonus action. So don't worry, I'll make an object and I'll drop it in all your stuff, but I wanted to let you know what it does.
Okay.
Cool. What was that medallion of again? The tech bots?
Yes. Which, if you have it, I will drop it in your thing. So stick around after, and we'll get that sorted. Did anyone have anything else they wanted to do before they turned in for the evening? All right. Well, then with that, that's where we're going to end for tonight. As always, thanks everybody for watching. If you'd like to support us, you can do so a couple different ways. First and foremost, you can always hit the subscribe button if you're watching on Twitch. Become one of our rock stars. On YouTube, make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and of course the bell icon to be notified whenever we upload new content, which is almost every single day of the week, Monday through Friday. And last but not least, no matter where you're watching, patreon.com/gamersledge will get your name on every single show that we do for as little as $1 a month as one of our producers. So thank you to all of them that are scrolling across the screen right now. Thank you to all my players. Thank you for watching, and until next time, game on.
Game on.
I need you closer than ever, ever than before. My life is wasted if I can't spend it all with you. I've lived in total darkness, now you're my only light. When you're away, I feel like a shadow in the night. Hold me, and look into my eyes. You'll be staying always by my side. I'll never let you go. No, I'll never let you go. You stay with me. I'll never let you go. No, I'll never let you go. You stay with me until the end of time. I'll never let you go. No, I'll never let you
You're watching HMM.